still of night, where shadows creep. Dan and Norm guide us, no secrets to keep. Through the ancient woods, where lost souls sigh, Bigfoot watches from the depths, lurking nearby. Welcome to the gateway to the unknown, where whispers of ghosts chill you to the bone. Paranormal tales and unknown phenomena unfold. With cryptids and mysteries, let the stories be told. Echoes of laughter from realms out of sight. Ghostly apparitions dance in the pale moonlight. In haunted halls where shadows entwine, Dan and Norm lead us through the veil of time. Welcome to the gateway to the unknown, where whispers of ghosts chill you to the bone. Paranormal tales and unknown phenomena unfold. With cryptids and mysteries, let the stories be told. Through fog and fear we venture deep into ancient mysteries where secrets sleep. With every heartbeat we draw near to enigmas hidden in the atmosphere. Welcome to the gateway to the unknown, where whispers of ghosts chill you to the bone. Paranormal tales and unknown phenomena unfold. With cryptids and mysteries, let the stories be told. So hold on tight as we drift away. Dan and Norm will return another day. In dreams we'll wander where shadows roam free. At the gateway to the unknown, come explore with me. As echoes linger in the night's embrace, ancient mysteries whisper, they leave a trace. With every thought that fades into dark, the gateway awaits, it ignites a spark.
Will o' the Wisps, also known as ignis fatuus or foolish fire, are mysterious lights that have captivated human imagination for centuries. These elusive orbs, often seen hovering around marshes and graveyards, have been attributed to mischievous spirits, fairies, or the souls of unbaptized in various folklore traditions. Scientifically, they are believed to be the result from oxidized gases like phosphine and methane produced by decaying organic matter in wet environments. Despite scientific explanations, the phenomenon's unpredictable nature and the inability to consistently replicate it in laboratory settings keep the mystery alive. Reports of these lights leading travelers astray or disappearing upon approach add to their enigmatic reputation. From the swamps of England to the outback of Australia, tales of will-o'-wisps persist, blending science and superstition in a dance of light and shadow. The term wisp refers to a twist of straw used as a torch. Other names for these apparitions include hobby lantern, jack-o'-lantern, Jenny Burnt-Tail, kitty candlestick, peg-a-lantern, and many, many more.
Welcome to the Gateway to the Unknown podcast. I'm Dan Hageman.
And I'm Norm Domek.
And Norm, today we're going to delve into the eerie glow of the will-o'-the-wisp. Are they mere natural phenomena or something more supernatural?
We'll explore real-life encounters, scientific theories, and the cultural impact of these mysterious lights. So grab your lantern and let's venture into the unknown.
Now, Norm, have you ever experienced any orbs or lights in the early evening, the nighttime, or even in the daytime?
I have. I was a teenager, and I thought my dad and I were fishing. We were doing an overnight camping expedition kind of a thing near the river, and I remember getting up to go and eat a hot dog because when you're 12 and 13, that's all you seem to do is eat. And I remember seeing a light. I'm like, who else is fishing down here? Nobody ever really fishes in that area. And I remember, kind of getting my flashlight and walking down. And when I got closer, it seemed like they were walking away. And I'm like, why are they walking away from me? And the closer I got, the further they got. And then the further I went after them, the further I got away from where we were fishing. And I kept walking and walking and walking. You can see the river. You can see where we were camping. So I really couldn't have gone too far in my mind. But I think I walked and chased whatever, just walked after that light for about a half an hour. And it just kept going. So, and I was like, I probably need to get back. But I didn't really understand what was happening until later. I didn't know that Willow the Wisps or jack-o'-lanterns or these mysterious orb lights at night were a thing. So to answer your question, yes. Have you ever saw anything?
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
Kinzu Dam. It's the northern part of Pennsylvania and New York border. It's up closer to the border of Pennsylvania and New York, but the Kinzu Dam area. We were up at they call it the upper reservoir, and we're just sitting there and just having a chit chat. And somebody said, "Hey, look, look, look!" And they pointed, and you could see these softball-sized balls of light just floating above the tops of the trees. Oh. And parking area where our cars were parked, we were getting ready, packing up and getting ready to leave, and there was a large area where I'd say perspective, give you an idea as far as how big of an area, 3-4 football fields away from where the car was parked. And all at once, this light that was probably about 16, 18 inches in diameter just popped up out of the ground and was approximately 3-4 feet above the ground and started coming toward us in a zigzag pattern. And when it got 25 feet away from us, it fragmented, and these balls of light just silently floated off in every direction of the compass.
Wow.
Very interesting. But, you were saying about following this light or these lights, and there have been so many documented reports where people were out there in the woods, national forest, they're out camping, and they see these lights and they start to follow them. And these lights actually lure them into the woods, and in some cases, these people were never seen again.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit frightening as far as the phenomena goes. It's a real phenomena. It's bizarre to say the least.
I've been lured. I've also been lured into the woods by the headlights. They were attached to my girlfriend.
Oh, okay. Alrighty.
So that. And that's how we're going to start this show. Let's see. We always take a left and just keep going, man. Like, that's just how we do. Couple old sailors.
Yeah, what are you going to do? Yeah.
What are you going to do? Well,
Amen.
You know what? Hey, this is season 1, episode 9. This is the season finale. We made it, bro. We did it.
Hey, we should be having fireworks going off over our heads, and we should be having, the party poppers, and I don't know if this works or not, but
I heard it on my end.
Yeah.
How is that, bro? How is that part of this? How is that a celebratory thing?
Well, let's try this.
What else do you have? There we go.
That's more
I
like
hope
it.
that.
But I'm still looking for the party favors and the party poppers and the sparks and fireworks going off over our head. But I think a couple old sailors, we've got an accomplishment. We're at the end of our first season. Which is a big accomplishment in my book.
It is 12 countries and over 100 downloads, which doesn't sound like much, but people really don't download podcasts. They'll listen, but they don't really interact because there's so many out there. So for us to get 100 in this short a time is that's pretty cool, I think. So good for you, good for us, good for the podcast. You know, it's fun too. We have a good time, and
Amen.
and the listeners to. Before we hit the record button, we tell a bunch of jokes, we kind of get in the mindset, and we just enjoy each other's company. And hopefully that shows while we're recording and that kind of thing. So thanks for listening. Thanks for helping us, just enjoy what we're doing. So thank you for that.
Oh, absolutely. We couldn't do it without the listeners. So they're a big part of it. And we truly, truly, truly appreciate you tuning into this podcast. And, we hope what we're, telling you is informative and you're enjoying the content.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun. We're having a good time. So we're doing it with the help of the listeners. We're doing it without the help of sponsors. We don't have any sponsors. Of course, we haven't really pushed that. So if you know anybody that wants to get their name on this podcast, let us know. Because there are some expenses that come along with this. I think we added it up. And it was quite a bit for 9 seasons. And I think it was something. It ended up being like $5,000 or something like that on the low end. And then we did some other things too to lessen the cost a little bit. So, but anyway, we can put your name up there if that's something that interests you. If you have anything in the paranormal realm that you'd like to sell, if you give tarot card readings, anything like that, if that's something that you would like to be a part of in any way, like maybe even be a guest on one of the episodes, we can do that too. So whatever you want to do, let's put it on the table and talk about it. So
absolutely, let us put your name in lights.
I thought that was one of the buttons that you were hitting. I was like, what is that? What button is that? You should record that. You should make that a button. That's
the Dan button.
That's the you want to be a sponsor button. That's what you just put sponsor with a question mark on the button and you hit that.
There you go.
All right. I'll tell you what, let's get back to our regularly scheduled program. Let's talk about the Marfa Lights, Dan. How about that?
Yeah, some examples of these odd lights that people are seeing. The Marfa Lights, that's a big one. Texas, USA. In the remote town of Marfa, Texas, mysterious lights have been reported since the 1980s. The glowing orbs appear on the horizon, moving erratically and changing colors. Despite numerous investigations, including those by scientists and the military, no definitive explanation has been found. Some attribute them to atmospheric reflections, while others believe they are manifestations of will-o'-the-wisps. Another one is the Min lights, and this is in Queens Island, Australia. And travelers in Australia or the Australian outback have reported encounters with the Min lights, glowing orbs that follow vehicles and disappear when approached. Indigenous Australians have long told stories of these lights, considering them omens or spirits. Excuse me. Then you have the Lantern Man, and this is East Anglia, England. In the Fens, East Anglia tells abound of the Lantern Man, a spectral light that lures travelers into treacherous marshes. Folklorist L.F. Newman documented stories of these lights being attracted to whistling sounds, leading superstitions avoiding certain behaviors at night. And ironically, the Marfa Lights and the Lantern Man, I just watched the program just a few nights ago that talked in depth about both of those. So they're both very interesting phenomena. Then you have the Aleya lights, and this is in Bengal, India. And fishermen in the marshes of Bengal have reported sightings of Aleya lights, floating orbs that appear at night. Local folklore suggests these lights are souls of fishermen who have died in accidents attempting to warn or mislead the living. Then you have the spook light, good old Missouri, USA. Near the border of Missouri and Oklahoma, the spook light has been the source of intrigue for over a century. This glowing orb appears along a specific stretch of road, moving unpredictably and vanishing when it's approached. Despite investigations, its origins remain unexplained.
Okay. You know what? I like how you mentioned in there that they're both good and bad. The story from India, they're fishermen who are attempting to warn or mislead. So it's both, or it could be both. Are they good or are they bad? And that is the same light in the same location. At one point, it may be helping. At another point, it may not be. So, what is that? Is it conscious at that point? If it was just gas, you would think it would do the same thing. Or is it floating? Is it a ball of gas that just happens to be floating, and sometimes it's floating towards something that's dangerous, and sometimes it's floating towards something that's not?
Yeah, but how would you explain in every one of those cases that I recited, when these lights are approached, they either disappear or they move away from you erratically and rapidly.
I would
Uh,
say if it's a ball of gas, maybe it lights and it burns itself out. But in the case that you said, it was moving towards you and
Correct.
then split. So is that ball lightning? Is some of this mistaken for that? Possibly.
That's a good possibility. Good
Oh,
possibility. This particular case, I've seen ball lightning before, and you know, was it ball lightning? Possible, but I honestly don't think it was. Uh, it because it behaved completely different than any ball lightning. I've seen ball lightning 3 times in my lifetime,
really?
and
Okay.
it's bizarre in itself, very dangerous. If
We have
you
an episode coming up on that. Sorry, I didn't
Yeah,
mean to talk over you. Yeah.
that's okay. If you tried to touch it, it would kill you. Plain
Wow.
simple and short. It's definitely dangerous. But are these things intelligent? Uh, is it alien in nature? Is it demonic? There are just so many questions that have gone unanswered, and even our scientific community and our military haven't been able to figure it out.
Right. Kind of to add to your ball lightning, and if you touch it, some bad things can happen. There are some instances where they have seen ball lightning, and then what is known as spontaneous human combustion has happened afterwards. So they're thinking that that might be a clue as to some of this spontaneous human combustion, that it may be caused by the ball lightning, where it's just this intense energy, and it floats into somebody and it hits them and it just fries them. It's just such an intense release of energy that all the fat burns in just one little spot, and it burns real fast and out real fast, and that's why where the middle of somebody may be just ashes and there's still a leg left or something like that. So we have an episode coming up on spontaneous human combustion as well. So I think it's interesting how a lot of these things could be connected.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I know. Back in my younger days, we were out hunting, and deer season. We're following a power line, and they have those high tension power lines and those big tall high tension towers, and going up the hill, and all at once you hear this snap and crack, and you're looking around, and you look up, and here's this huge ball of lightning traveling the power lines, and it's snapping and cracking, and even though we were probably better than half a football field away from the base of this tower, all your hair stood up on end. So these things must really pack a wallop. They must really have a lot of dangerous power built up in them. And I know I wouldn't want to be hit with one. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So we have a short story mailbag that I can read. It's called "The Light in the Marsh," and it is submitted by Emily from Salem. This is another story from Salem. So we have some listeners in Salem, and if you live somewhere other than Salem and you want to submit a story, please do so. We're on Facebook. There will be some information in the show notes. You can connect with us through YouTube or any of the platforms where you listen. You can leave a note there as well, and we will absolutely love to hear your story, love to get it on here. So, even if you're from Salem, we can read more stories from Salem. We got plenty of episodes coming up here. So 9 times 6 is 54, 9 times 5 is 45. So after this episode, we have 45 left in the series. So 45.
It's just a few.
Just a few. Yep,
just a few.
All right, so the short story mailbag. It's called "The Light in the Marsh," submitted by Emily from Salem. It was mid-October, just a week before Halloween, when I decided to take a late afternoon hike through the Great Marsh in Essex, not far from Salem. The air was cool, the kind of crisp New England chill that makes your breath puff out in little ghosts. The sky was streaked with burnt orange as the sun began its slow descent, casting long, golden fingers across the reeds and brambles. I'd gone out alone. I usually do. Nature clears my mind, and honestly, I didn't expect anything weird. At most, I thought I'd see a heron, or maybe catch the rustle of a deer through the cattails. About 2 miles in, I veered off the boardwalk onto a narrow trail that led to a shallow overlook. I stood there, watching the marsh breathe. Just wind, water, and the occasional cricket chirping its last song of the season. That's when I saw it. A small bluish light floating about 4 feet off the ground, maybe 30 feet away. It wasn't bright like a flashlight, or cold like an LED. It pulsed softly, like it was breathing. I froze. My first thought was, that's weird. My second, maybe somebody dropped a drone. But then the light started to move, slowly at first, drifting lazily between the trees like a feather on water. I followed. I know, every horror movie starts this way, but something about it was entrancing, hypnotic. It felt like I had to follow it, not like I wanted to, like I needed to. The trail grew narrower, the trees thicker, the sun dipped below the tree line, and the light was now my only beacon. I must have followed it for 15 minutes, maybe more, and every time I thought it disappeared, it would flicker into view again, just a little further ahead. Then, just as suddenly as it appeared, it dropped, vanished into a low mist hanging over a stagnant pool of marsh water. The wind stopped. The trees around me stood deathly still, like they were holding their breath. That's when I noticed something that made my stomach flip. There were no sounds. No insects, no frogs, no rustling leaves, nothing. Absolute, suffocating silence. And then splash. Not behind me, not ahead, to the side. I whipped around, and there, not 20 feet away, was a second light. This one red, and it was getting brighter. I turned and ran. I didn't look back. Branches scratched my arms and snagged my jacket as I crashed through the undergrowth. I couldn't tell where the path was anymore. I just knew I had to run toward the open sky. My lungs burned, and panic clawed at my throat, but I didn't stop until I burst onto the boardwalk again. I collapsed onto the wooden planks, gasping, and when I finally looked back at the trees, there it was, the blue light, just hovering, barely visible through the thick wall of trees, like it had stopped chasing, but was still watching. The next day, I went back, during daylight. I found the same path. No lights, no signs of anything strange, but when I reached the edge of that shallow pool, I saw something half buried in the mud. A rusted out lantern, the kind from the 1800s. It was still faintly blue, like it had soaked in moonlight and held on to it. I left it there. Some things aren't meant to be souvenirs. And ever since that night, I've had vivid dreams of mists and marshes, of voices calling from the reeds, always just out of sight, always just behind me. So, do I believe in the will of the wisps? Let's just say this. I no longer hike alone, especially not near water, and definitely not in October.
Wow. Oh, Emily, I have to hand it to you. That's very, very interesting, and it makes the hair stand up off the back of my neck. I know, a few instances you recited there. There are so many different things or possibilities that come to mind, and we get dozens and dozens and dozens of Bigfoot reports, and reports that people see an orb come into a wooded area, and then the next thing there's a Bigfoot, and even some of the syndicated TV shows, they have reference to these lighted orbs, basically just like you described, and then an encounter with a Bigfoot creature. I'm not saying that's what you experienced or witnessed, but it's a good possibility.
With Emily's story, what would you have done the same? What would you have done differently?
To be honest with you.
No, lie to me. Yeah.
Okay. Uh, I'd probably run like hell. Excuse my French.
Well, that's what she did.
Yeah, but I mean, it just it's not natural. You get so much of this, especially from the officials or the government. Swamp gas, swamp gas. There are too many reported credible sightings and credible witnesses that are experiencing this when they're out in the woods, the national forests, and this is something that is ongoing, and there's just too much of it. So there has to be more to it than what we've been led to believe.
It could be other people in the woods. Like, you were a hunter. Maybe it's hunters just like laying on their back, just had Taco Bell, and they're just lighting their farts. Maybe, who knows?
There you go. Of course, that's like methane gas. I think you'd have flames shoot out, and
the light was there and then it was gone. If you've ever lit a fart, that happens. So that's my next question, sir. Have you?
I am.
Have you ever lit a fart?
I'm guilty.
Okay.
I think
Fair.
in our younger years, that's something that you get a group of guys together, and I think it's something we've all tried.
You said younger years? I'm 52 and I just did one last week. Are we supposed to stop at some point? I didn't get the memo. I never got the memo.
Yeah. There are things that I don't do anymore.
Okay. All right. Well, I try to still do everything, so there's that.
There are some things I can't do anymore.
Well, hey.
But,
Get the snake charmer. Have you seen the last episode? Yeah, we got to get the snake charmer, buddy.
There you go. There you go.
Oh, man.
Oh, wow.
Okay, moving on, like we always have to. Alleged facts, because we talked about at one point we had our facts section, and we're like, let's just call it alleged facts. And if you can see on the notes there, they are now called alleged facts. So every season moving forward, that will be the section. All right. So we have our alleged facts. Chemical reactions. The oxidation of phosphine and diphosphate and methane gases from decaying organic matter can produce light without heat. We have global phenomenon. Similar lights have been reported worldwide, including the Marfa Lights in the USA, the Min Lights in Australia, and the Aleya Lights in India. And these are on every country throughout history. So if there are not marshes around, what else is causing that? So that's an interesting thing. Historical accounts. References to mysterious lights date back centuries, appearing in various culture, folklore, and literature. There are scientific studies that attempt to replicate the phenomenon in laboratory settings, and they have had limited success, indicating the complexity of natural conditions required. Visual characteristics. Witnesses often describe the lights as bluish, hovering close to the ground and disappearing upon approach. And the last one here is environmental conditions. These lights are commonly reported in marshy, swampy areas rich in decaying organic matter. So that's where they're seen and when they're seen, how they're seen, kind of a general overview there. And there are some psychological aspects here that I think you're going to talk about those, unless there's anything else you wanted to talk about with the past section there.
Yeah, I know. I find it interesting that when they refer to witnesses often describe the lights as bluish in color, and if you get a plasma discharge from the Earth, and again, I've personally witnessed those, and of course the lights are blue. It's plasma. And you get up again around the Kinzu Dam area, there's a lot of discharges from the Earth, which is plasma. But then there are some of the orbs, softball-sized orbs that we've experienced and witnessed. They range in color from stark white to color yellow, orange, red, and a pale green. So why the different colors, that I can't explain, but I'm just wondering if some of these things that these people are seeing and experiencing aren't natural plasma discharges from the Earth.
Right, okay. Light appears different colors depending on the wavelength. And so maybe it's all the same, and it just depends on where we are in relation to it as to the color that we see. So that's possible.
That's a possibility.
Or maybe it just has to do with the type of energy that it is. Maybe it's not all the same energy in some way. Maybe there's some chemicals that are in there that burn differently if it is an actual chemical reaction. Kind of like you can put in different packs into a fire. Your fire pit will burn green or blue or whatever, depending on the sprinkle chemicals that you put in there. So that could be part of it as well.
That's a good possibility. Definitely. I know psychological aspects. The human brain is wired to recognize patterns and make sense of ambiguous stimuli, especially in low light conditions. This tendency can lead to something called pareidolia, and where we perceive the meaningful images or sound in random patterns. Additionally, the isolation and the eeriness of marshlands at night heighten the sensibility and fear, making natural phenomena seem supernatural. Culture stories and folklore further influence our perceptions, leading individuals to interpret unexplained lights as the-Wisps and other entities.
Okay. And that pareidolia, I think that happens in a lot of different things. What we see with our eyes and how we interpret it with our brain really determines the output. And I think our mindset, if we go into a situation, if we're in the woods and we're expecting to see deer laying down, and we see a log and two branches sticking up, from a distance, we're going to automatically think that's a deer laying down. But as we get closer, it's just a log and a couple of branches, right? So I think our preconceived notions play into that. And then you have the lighting conditions on top of that. So I think there's a lot of things that you have to go through a checklist to say, is this actually what I'm seeing? I've seen, and you have too, where people will say, this is an elf. I saw an elf in the forest, and they're circling something in a picture. It looks like a leaf to me, looks like a leaf to everybody else, but the person that took that picture and made the circle swears up and down it was an elf. So what is that? What did that person see? Is it just an overactive imagination? And does that happen with these will-o'-the-wisps and jack-o'-lanterns, or whatever we're calling them, depending on our geographic location? Did somebody just light a cigarette a quarter mile away and we saw a flicker and now it's out? I think every situation is different, and I think that pareidolia should be one of the first things that we ask ourselves. Let's go through the list. Let's prove what it isn't, and then let's try to prove what it is.
Amen. Amen. Yeah, pareidolia can really wreak havoc with, your psyche. And, there are different syndicated programs, again, on television that, they go in depth and talk about pareidolia. And, like you said, you could have a group of 20 people, and one person out of that group see something, and to them, their perception is what it isn't. Everybody else is seeing a leaf or a branch on a tree, and one individual is seeing something completely different.
Right. But there's something to that too. I mean, there have been UFO sightings where there's 10 people sitting around and they don't see it, and there's one person that does, or vice versa, where everybody sees it except for that one person. They're like, what are you looking at? Everyone's like, it's right there. And they're like, there's nothing there. So the rods and the cones in our eyes, and I think our education plays a factor into that. And I think there's a lot of things that, like an onion, they get layered in to as input that determines the output. And some of it is mental, some of it is physical, and I think there's a blend, and that blend, that's the output. I think it's super interesting. The whole pareidolia phenomenon and why it happens to me that's interesting unto itself.
Yeah, I don't know. Do we have an episode coming up on pareidolia, Norm?
I don't think so. I'll have to look. There's 45 episodes left. I did the math once, and I want to keep using that data. So
yeah.
I don't know. I don't think we do. I know we've talked about it a couple times. We can just keep layering it in like we have been. That seems to work.
There you go.
So let's talk about some of the sociological impacts here. So will-o'-the-wisps have significantly influenced cultural narratives, serving as cautionary tales about the dangers of straying from the path or venturing into unknown territories. They appear in literature, music, and art, symbolizing elusive goals or deceptive appearances. In some communities, these lights are integrated into local legends, reinforcing social norms and behaviors. Their enduring presence in folklore underscores humanity's fascination with the unknown and the blending of natural phenomenon with supernatural interpretations. So maybe these lights aren't seen as much, and it's just a metaphor or a parable or some kind of lesson to say, stick with what you know. Don't go chasing waterfalls. There's a song about that. Don't go through the woods at night. Don't go whistling in the woods at night. We have an episode on that with the Appalachian coming up. How do you explore without losing sight of the shore? You know what I mean? Old sailor?
That's a good question.
You've got to get out there. You got to just do it. You got to say, you know what? I don't know what's behind this door, but I'm going to open it.
Might not like what you find.
Yeah, but you might. And how do you know until you open that door? It's Schrodinger's door. You have a learning experience and no experience at the same time until you open that door.
Amen.
The experience is both bad and good until you open that door.
Maybe I'll get lucky and there'll be a truckload of money behind that door.
It could be. But what if it's D.B. Cooper's money behind that door? Are
I'll
you
take
spending
it.
it? You spending
Yeah.
it?
I'm not going to tell a soul.
Well, they're gonna know as soon as you come up with some old $10 bills that are all soaked and muddy and whatever. And I think all those numbers are tracked. I think they got those things
My
like,
my my grandmother had it buried in the basement.
oh yeah, it's it was in the mattress. Why is it all wet? Like, oh no.
She couldn't hold her bladder, but
Oh gosh. Oh
yeah.
gosh. Well, it's kind of like the people find buried coins, like jars and jars. My dad did that. He has so much money, had buried in his yard, just just mason jars, those glass jars, just filled with pennies and quarters, and he would separate them out. This is my penny jar. This is my quarter jar. He had them in his yard. He had money on his tree. He had those little eggs, little Easter eggs, those plastic ones. He would shove dollar bills in there and put them all over his tree. It was a peach tree, and he said every time I need money, I'd go and pick money off my money tree. That's what he used to call it. And he
Wow.
didn't care if the neighborhood kids came and got $1 or $5 or whatever to go to the candy store. He didn't care. It
Yeah.
was kind of a cool thing. But that was his money tree, is what he called it. But how many other people have money just buried?
Well,
Just
see, there you go. Who says money doesn't grow on trees?
his did.
Yeah.
His did. Yeah. So that'd be I think that's a story. That's a movie. And I think you're going to talk about some movies coming up here in a little bit, unless you want to do it right now. How about that? Pop culture, Dan. You want to lead into that?
Yeah. Pop culture. I don't know, one that I personally I could never really get into is Lord of the Rings.
Hmm.
Have you watched that or any of the?
Everyone. Everyone. Now, I have fallen asleep because some of them are kind of long. So, yeah, the first one that came out, I had worked like 18 hours straight for like 4 days in a row. And my girlfriend at the time said, let's go to the movies. And I said, all right. That's back when everybody went to the movies, is more than they did now. I think I made it like 10 minutes in. But luckily, we got the set later in life, and I watched them all straight through over like a weekend or two or something like that.
Binge watch.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Lord of the Rings featured eerie lights in the dead marshes, reminiscent of Willow the Wisps. Another one is Brave. Disney Pixar. Uh, the protagonist follows Will o' the Wisps. And I don't know why I have such a hard time saying that. For me, that's a mouthful, but
Yeah, yeah.
protagonists follow Will o' the Wisps, leading to significant plot developments. Another one in pop culture is the Witcher series, and that includes creatures inspired by Will o' the Wisp folklore. Another one is the Harry Potter series, and I've watched quite a few of those.
Yeah.
And the Harry Potter series references the mysterious lights and guiding spirits echo the Will o' the Wisps legend. And then another one is the Elder Scrolls, and that's a video game. I'm sure a lot of the younger generation out there is familiar with it. I personally am not, but the Elder Scrolls video game featured Will o' the Wisp creatures as part of its game's lore. And then another one is Supernatural TV series, and that uh, explores various folklore, including Will o' the Wisps.
Do you have any favorites out of any of that?
Uh, the Harry Potter, it's popular, and the Witcher series. I've seen quite a few of both of those.
Yeah.
But out of that group that I recited, those are really the only two. I think I've seen the Supernatural TV series a few times. My wife watches that, but beyond that, that's really it for me.
Yeah, the Elder Scrolls. I'm not a big gamer, but the graphics on there they're pretty cool. So I think anybody that's a gamer that's into paranormal, I think it'd be worth at least checking it out. And if you don't want to play it, The big thing now, or has been for a little bit, is you watch somebody else play it. You can get on YouTube, put the name of the game in this case it'd be Elder Scrolls, and just watch somebody else play it, so you can sit back and watch it like a movie and somebody's playing a game. So it's a big thing now. There are people, that's how they make their money, is playing a game, posting it on YouTube, and they'll have hundreds of thousands of followers. It's pretty interesting.
Well, Norm, what do you think about as far as the debunking aspect of this? What kind of debunking attempts can we discuss?
Well, I think that people have been trying to explain lights for a long time in the sky, and if they can't explain them with fact, they figure out a way to do it with folklore. So fact and folklore are sometimes used interchangeably, and that can be a double-edged sword. But really, it's the big one seems to think that the leading theory involves the combustion of gases like phosphine and methane in marshy areas. However, reproducing the exact conditions in a lab has proven challenging. Some skeptics argue that sightings are misinterpretations of natural lights, such as bioluminescent orgasms. Whoops. What would that look like? Oh, it's just a whoa, whoa, whoa. Why? Whew. Am I getting red? How red am I right now? Do I need?
You're as red as a beet. I think you even made me red.
I'm gonna try to okay, let's go. I need the clapperboard. Take two.
Organisms.
So that's the word. Some skeptics argue that sightings are misinterpretations of natural lights, such as bioluminescent organisms or reflections. Despite these efforts, the phenomenon's elusive nature keeps the debate alive. We gonna put that in the show notes? Bioluminescent orgasms. I think I might have to redo the art, the cover art for the podcast here.
You might have invented something here.
I don't know, man. Like with the fairies, how do they get to where they need to be? Are there lights involved? I don't know. Like that's how you know? Maybe that's what it is. I think we may have just solved the mystery of what these lights are. They're the fairy orgasms. That's what it is.
Yeah, there you go.
Done. We're done.
Speaking of fairies, our good friend Denny. Did you ever see the picture that he captured on his security system? And he sent it to me, and I blew it up. And honest to God, Norm, I've got goosebumps even thinking about it. But you can see the wings, you can see the leg, you can see the foot. It looks like a fairy.
I did see it. It looks like Tinkerbell.
Yes. And I've talked with him several times about it, and he'd say, well, Dan, what do you think that is? Do you think that, it just has me baffled. I mean, when you look at that picture, you clearly can see that it's not an insect, it's not a bird, it looks like a fairy.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And there's some pictures out there where we talked about pareidolia, and it's like, well, I'm not really seeing that. It's pretty clear in his picture, because at first I'm thinking, is that a grasshopper? That was my first thought, because it had the skinny legs, it had the big wings. It looked like a grasshopper or a locust at first glance, but then it didn't. So, yeah, man, I don't know.
You're looking at it and you're trying to rule out all the possibilities, but when you start checking off those possibilities, it's not a grasshopper, it's not a locust, it's not an insect, it's not a bird,
Yeah. I don't know.
Are these fairies, are they real?
That's the clearest picture. Well, that's the only picture I have seen that would make me believe that is true. If somebody told me, we have some very, very smart friends, smarter than I will ever be, and so, they tell me stories that they've seen them, I believe them. I have no reason not to. But when you have a picture, that's a whole different thing. especially when it's from somebody, it's a house camera, and he doesn't fake things. There are people that don't have the technical expertise to do that, or the
1825.
Oh, excuse me. Siri's telling me I got to get up and move or whatever. Oh, now my other phones are going off. I said the S word. Now they're all talking. Okay, we're good. Sorry about that. But yeah, the pictures they're there. That picture, it's clear. It's very clear. There's some other bugs and stuff in some of the other pictures, but that's not it. That's not it. So, or is it? And we're just victims of pareidolia.
Good question.
But I looked at it a lot. You looked at it a lot. It's pretty clear. So
Yeah. I pull up, I have a database, and I pull the pictures up, what you see now, look at it again over and over and over, and maybe next week it'll be, something different. But every time I look at it, it's clearly, none of the above. It looks like a fairy.
Yeah. I have pictures on the internet that I look at over and over as well.
Yeah. I can imagine. Yes.
All right.
Well, with that, should we talk about conclusions?
Let's do that. That's you. You're gonna bring us home, man. Conclusion.
Okie dokie. Will-o'-the-wisps straddle the line between science and superstition, captivating our imaginations and challenging our understanding of the natural world. While scientific explanation provides plausible causes, the consistency of reports across cultures and centuries suggests deeper mystery. Whether they're the result of chemical reactions or manifestations of folklore, these lights continue to intrigue and inspire. If you encounter a will-o'-the-wisp or have a story that you can share, we'd love to hear from you. Reach out to Gateway to the Unknown and join us for exploring the unexplained. And again, without you folks' support, our listeners, we truly appreciate you more than you will know. And if you want to be a sponsor of our podcast, we would love to and let people know that you're out there, advertise for you. And with that, stay safe, God bless, and please tune in on our next episode. And with that, Norm, I'll let you have the last say.
Well, if you decide that you would like to sponsor the show, you get to do a little something special with Dan. I've decided that that's okay.
Well, maybe they could grow me some hair.
They're gonna. Yeah. Oh. Hey Dan, I never hit the record button when we started.
Oh yeah. Yes, you did.
I'm kidding. Yeah, I recorded. We've done that before. I did a 3-hour podcast and we couldn't get it. It was an amazing podcast too. It was somebody who we were talking about their first time. His dad walked in on him, and I said, "Let's call your dad." And we had a couple of drinks during the podcast, and so I called his dad, put it up against the microphone, and his dad tells the story. And this podcast was epic, and we couldn't get it off of the server. So,
oh wow,
very first podcast, epic. 3 hours, couldn't do it. Somehow didn't connect. We recorded, but it never recorded. I think the microphone wasn't connected, but it was recording, but it wasn't. It didn't pick up the audio.
Well, you had me for just a brief second there, but then I remember clicking on the OK that the podcast was recording started, and I thought, well, yeah. Nice try though, Norm. Nice try.
I did try. Well, may I say again, congratulations on completing an entire season. This is episode 9 of season 1. This is the season finale. So you want to hit the button again? You want to hit the clap button? Do you have that? Not the
You don't
clap.
want that one. Okay.
There we go. There we go. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. Thanks for giving us a reason to get together and have a good time. We really do
Amen.
appreciate it.
Amen.
Thank you so much. And we're going to have a party. We're going to have a wrap on season 1, so we're going to have a party in person, and we're going to put that information out as soon as we know what it is. I've got my notes are here about calling the people to get reserve the date and all that kind of stuff, but we'll put it out there so we can get together in person, eat some pizza, have some drink some soda pop.
Yeah, we're giving away some champagne and popcorn.
Champagne and popcorn.
Yes.
We're doing it. We're doing it. All right, guys. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much. And before I go, Dan, I want to tell you I love you, man. I do. I appreciate you very much. So
Love you too, Norm, more than you know, and even though I'm better looking, I don't know, you might have more hair than me, but it's just hair,
Yeah, well, they might be the pareidolia talking. We'll see. All right, but we're gonna give this a wrap. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
God bless.
Bye.
In the still of night, where shadows creep,